Greetings commanders and welcome back to another Warpath video. My name is Eagle and in this video we're going to be discussing the new migration system. And man oh man, does this bring a lot of changes to the game, and it's just massive. Everyone knows that migration is always super expensive, and right now within the current migration system, sometimes you do migrate to a new server, but then again, you figure out that this new server was not the ideal server that you are in, and then you're stuck there for another maybe half a year, which is sometimes really frustrating for all players, and a lot of players quit just because of that. But right now, with the new migration system, it allows you to migrate between servers, sometimes without even doing migration commands. But if you meet the specific kind of new restrictions that are introduced with this new update. To put this update in a nutshell, all you can see is the current server and destination server in this picture over here. I'm gonna move my camera so that you guys would be able to see this full picture. Just put it maybe over here. This is not migratable, so it's kind of red over here. This is perfect. So let's go ahead right now and explain how this works. So you have the current server in the top row, and then in the first column, you have the destination server. So if your server is open for 0 to 180 days, then you are able to migrate to any other server that is open between 0 and 180 days, which is kind of very massive, okay? So in addition to that, you have between 0 and 80 days, which are glorious servers. Now, glorious servers, basically you have a power cap over here, so which means that only players under the power cap can migrate except special migration. What does special migration means is that each month one player can migrate without restrictions, but it requires approval of the top alliance leader. So that means that this glorious server has the top server in terms of total power of the first 300 players, meaning that it is the maximum. Like between 0 and 80 days, they compare all the servers and they check all the first 300 players. The top server over there, which everyone wants to go to, basically is kind of restricted. And the reason why this server is restricted is because they don't want the server to be overpowered. They want it to be more balanced when it's actually being matched with other servers. What is currently happening in Warpath is that some of the servers are kind of acquiring all the whales into one server. And they're creating these massive alliances that kind of are really hard to beat, because when you have all the whales in one server, then there's no way you can beat them, right? It makes sense. So in order to balance the game, they kind of put some restrictions on these servers that are super strong. So unless you meet those requirements and you have you can get only one player from those with a special immigration, otherwise you can't get more players into that server because it's already super strong, and being matched with other servers will only, if you get more players there, will only allow it to be a very unfair matching or a conquest or whatever it's PvP event it is. So that's why these restrictions are very important in order to actually be able to get players only in a limited amount and based on restriction. In addition to that, if you are between 0 and 80 days, if your server is new, you are able to migrate to any server between 180 and 300, and any server above 300 days, except glorious servers from that specific term. So you have to make sure that that server is not glorious. Otherwise, you have to do something called special migration, which is going to be only one player per month, which is basically massive. It's kind of a debuffing for those servers. It's like a massive debuff. If you are in a server between 180 and 300 days, you will not be able to migrate to any server that is below 180 days at all. However, you will be able to migrate to servers between 180 and 300, and you will be able to go to servers after 300 days. Of course, there are definitely some restrictions and rules for that, and glorious servers rule also applies to these too. When it comes to opening for 300 days, I'm going to move myself over here. What you will be able to do is not migrate to any server that is below 300 days. But after 300 days, you'll be able to migrate to those. And also you have to make sure that there are glorious servers so that you won't be able to migrate to them. Now, glorious servers are going to be announced, so you would know exactly which ones are actually glorious and which ones are not. In addition to that, you will be able to know what are the new rules and restrictions for the migration as well. There's also a rule that is going to happen is that they're going to be doing some free migrations for older servers. So servers that are extremely old, they're going to have free migrations, which means that players can migrate between 1 or 2 servers without having to actually spend anything. And the reason why they're doing that is because they want to allow older servers to actually travel to another server that best suits them from the other older servers, so that they would actually be able to have more fun in that server and not just be in a server that they don't fit in or they don't find themselves in. So this is also pretty cool. Especially for players that have been playing the game for a while and they're free to play. They don't want to spend anything on the game, and just like migration commands are just a pain in the ass to actually collect. So this new migration system actually makes much more sense, and it gives some more balance to the game, in my opinion. Now, this all having in mind that the rules and restrictions that are going to be like kind of enforced on players actually make sense, and they're not like out of this world. Especially when it comes to glorious servers, because again, these servers did a lot of effort in order to collect all these players together in one place and actually make a massive server out of them. And this is why these servers are actually successful, because they're very organized, they kind of make room for everyone, and they're very like good. It's understandable that these servers are becoming really strong and the situation is going out of hand, so something has to be put in place in order for these servers to be more balanced, and the power is actually well distributed among servers, so that when they do the conquest events, and especially the one that is going to happen very soon, which is like the massive conquest, the ultimate conquest that's going to happen between the top alliances, so that it will be actually a little bit fair and not just servers that are extremely strong and powerful against servers that are considered powerful but not as much. So this all just gives a better balance to the game, in my opinion. Leave me in the comments below what are your thoughts about this new update, and give me some details about what you guys think, if this is actually good or bad, and what would you guys like to see as well. I would definitely give all the details and suggestions that you give me straight to the developers so that they can check them out, and if there's something good, they would definitely be considering to actually implement it in the game. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. Bye bye.